Hey guys, and welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you books that I own or have read that are by queer LGBTQ authors or are about queer LGBTQ characters. I have so many books to show you. It's going to take us a minute to get through these, but I want to get through them and I want to show you a bunch of books that I already own, books that I have read in the past and books that I have not yet read that I know are either by authors who are a part of the LGBTQ community or are about characters that should be a part of that community as well. So we're going to go through them. I've got a plethora from all areas and I'm so excited to just show y'all what I own that I know of to be queer. There's probably a lot more here that I didn't look through or that I didn't recognize immediately. So it's not an exhaustive list. It's just what I know that I own and that I have read. That's the list. So I'm going to stop yip yapping and we're going to get to it. So first, let's start with the L in LGBTQ. So starting with my lesbian girlies, a book I have not yet read is Gideon the Ninth. This is a 3-part series, I believe. There may be more than 3 that are going to, just kidding, it is a trilogy. Book 1 in the Locked Tomb trilogy. So there are 3 books in the series. It is by a lesbian author, but it's also about lesbian characters. So it's a double whammy. I'm going to be reading this potentially this month. I'm very excited to get into it because I've seen a lot of people, some of my gay girlies on the booktube have read this and really enjoyed it. So I'm really excited to read this and see what it's all about. Can I tell you what it is about? Not really. And I don't want to get too deep into some synopsises on this, but this is a fantasy. It's about necromancy and battles and war. That's about all I know. And then a book series that I have that is by a lesbian author is the Ruinous Love trilogy by Brene Weaver. She is a full-on lesbian author and she wrote this trilogy set. I never would have guessed that she was lesbian based on this set. I have read this. I did quite enjoy the first 2 books. The third one felt kind of redundant. It felt very similar to the other 2. But this is a love series set about 3 different brothers and the loves that they find. And it has to do with like serial killers, murderers, that sort of thing. Very fun little set. But yeah, wanted to shout out Brene Weaver for her lesbian love life. The G and LGBTQ, we got lots of gays. And some of these may fit into the queer section as well. I didn't, not all of them said that they were gay necessarily, and not all of them said that they were queer. Some just said queer and it didn't give distinction. So if I'm putting them in the wrong packet, they're part of the community, and that's really all that matters. But I'm trying to categorize them into the alphabet mafia as much as I can. With our queer and potentially gay authors, we start off at the top with Sarah Gailey. I plan to read this book actually this month, hopefully. This is Spread Me. She has a bunch of books, horror author. She has written a bunch of novels, 3 or 4 of those, some novellas. She's got some short stories. So very excited to read this. I've never read from her before, so I'm very excited to read 2 books by her this month. And I also know that she has a book that's coming out this year if it's not out already. So Sarah. And then we have Kieran Innes, who is the author of Leech and The Works of Vermin. I've heard a lot about The Works of Vermin, and by heard a lot, I mean that I've heard people say the name of this book. I have not heard a lot of people actually talk about the book itself, but this is a bug horror. I've got this specific edition from Twisted Retreat, and I also have Leech by the same author. I really wanted to read this one. This one is about a isolated chateau, and it's just supposed to be creepy, weird, medical stuff, and I just am so excited about this one. This one seems a little bit more horror sci-fi in a way. The synopsis sounds all over the place, so I don't know. But I've never read either one of these, and I really hope that I can get to them sometime in the near future. I won't be reading these this month, but I do have them. And then we also have Cassandra Caw. I specifically own the library at Hellborn. She has a lot of different books all over the place. I think Black Teeth or something to that effect is one that's like super popular that I've heard about. Not a lot of people like it, but I've heard about it. So also they are a part of the gay queer community. And then finally I have Thomas Old Hewlett. Sorry for mispronouncing your name, bro. But they are also a part of the gay queer community. I have never read either of his books. I do plan to read these books potentially this month, if not in the near future. I want to do a taste test because I've never read from this author before either. I don't know that these are queer books themselves, but I do know that the author is queer and gay. Now for my bisexuals. We actually have quite a few bisexual books to go through. So, in the bisexual author category, which for anyone who's interested or wants to know, I do fit into that section of the alphabet mafia, if you will. I am bisexual. I came out as bisexual in like middle school, and I have had relationships with women and men. I am married to a man, so there's that. We do have a beautiful little daughter together, but I am still a part of that community. Getting married to a man does not make me less bisexual. That's a stigma and it's weird, so don't do that. Anyway, bisexual authors, we have S.T. Gibson, who wrote this rendition of Dracula, essentially. This is A Dowry of Blood, which is a take on Dracula. I think this is just supposed to be I can't think of, the word's not coming to me. It's not coming to me. I can't think of the word, but it's supposed to be a like take on Dracula, a like spin-off, a spin on Dracula. I can't think of the word, I'm sorry. But S.T. Gibson is bisexual. We also have Gwendolyn Kist. This book specifically is The Haunting of Velkwood. I have not read this one either. I do want to try and get to it this month, as well as A Dowry of Blood, but this is supposed to be a horror haunting novel. Very excited to get into this potentially. But yes, Gwendolyn is also a part of the bisexual section of the Alphabet Mafia. And then finally, we have V.E. Schwab herself. V.E. Schwab does identify as queer, but also as bisexual. So they could fit into either category. Humstever. V.E. Schwab has Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, which I have not read. I was hoping to get to this month. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I do really like V.E. Schwab. I have read 2 books of hers. I've read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I'm obsessed with. If you don't like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, that is totally fine, and you're allowed to have your opinions even if they're wrong. But I loved this book. I read this when I had just had my daughter, and I sobbed and cried. It's so beautiful. So I asked my husband to get me this anniversary edition, special edition version, because I just loved this so much. I listened to it on audio from my library at the time. Very excited to have this edition of it. This will be like on full display when I finally build those bookcases out there. But also by her that I have read is Vicious, and I didn't like this one as much. I have the full set. Actually, I have book 1 and 2. I don't have the 3rd book yet, but I only read Vicious. It was kind of okay for me, but she is a bisexual author if you're interested in reading from any bisexual authors. And then for my T's, for my trans authors, we have Poppy Z. Bright. They are trans, and I have Exquisite Corpses. I have started it, but I've never finished it. This is really messed up, I will say. I do like it, but I never had the chance to finish it. So it is one that I do need to finish, but Poppy Z. Bright is trans. We also have Alison Rumfett. Y'all, when I saw this cover, I just knew this fit into the LGBTQ community. Like, I don't know what it is about this cover, but when I saw it, I was like, gay. That's gay. It also gives it away because this one is blurbed by a bunch of gay authors as well, so I think that's really funny. But Alison Rumfett is a transgender author. I have not read Brainworms. I do plan to read this month. This is going to get read this month. I'm so excited to read it. It looks so good. It sounds so interesting. I'm so excited. This is about a woman named Frankie. Her job gets bombed by TERF, and she runs into someone named Vanya, and they go down this weird, crazy, wild ride together. And then we also have Andrew Joseph White. Andrew Joseph White is trans, and the only book that I own by them is You Weren't Meant to Be Human. They do have quite a few other books though. This is also about a trans character. I only read a little bit of this. I haven't gotten that far into it. I don't even know if you can tell how much I've read because the bookmark is like, it blends in, but I barely read any of it. But I do plan to read this at some time in the future. But this is by a trans author, Andrew Joseph White. So he does have a catalog of different books if you're interested in reading trans authors. And then the final one that I have is The Grip of It by Jace Jimmick. It's hard to say their name, but I do believe, if I'm remembering correctly too, this was also about a trans character. I have a hard time remembering because I read this a while back, but this is about a home, and the home basically is like possessing people. Very interesting kind of idea. I did read this. I did enjoy it. I think I gave this a 4-star, if I'm remembering correctly, but this was one that I really enjoyed. So if you're interested, J Smack, I believe this was their debut, potentially. Oh no, they also wrote My Only Wife. So that's another book by this author as well. For queer, we've already kind of gone through some queer ones, but I also have some books with queer characters. We've got Carmela, which is the original vampire story before Dracula. This is a sapphic novel. I'm very excited to read this one. It sounds so interesting. I'm going to be reading this month as well, so I'm really excited to get into that one. We also have Monstrilio by Gerardo Cordova. I have not read this one yet, but I have heard a lot of great praises about this book and its representation and all of that. I very much want to read this in the near future. Just not going to happen this month, but if you haven't read it, this one is a really good book that a lot of people recommend. And just kind of like, it seems very like Dracula meets Frankenstein based on what I've heard of it, but don't quote me on that. And then finally we have Girl Dinner, which is supposed to have queer characters in it. I have not read this one yet either, but I do plan to read it in the near future this year. I got this from Aardvark because it just sounded good. It just sounds like a fun girly time, and so I want to read this one. And then one that I'm currently reading that is supposed to have a queer character in it is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. I have yet to meet our queer character, and I am like 30% of the way into the book, so I don't know when that's supposed to happen. And if it doesn't, that is going to be a little bit upsetting for me. However, I am enjoying this book. This is a fantasy, thick, chunky fantasy. It is going to be a trilogy. I believe this is the only book that's out thus far, though. All right, I don't have any intersex authors that I know of, but I do have some asexual, aromantic authors that I can recommend. So we have John Wisewell. This is someone you could build a nest in. I do plan to read this month as well. I have not read it yet, but it does sound gay also. We follow a creature of some sort who ends up finding a partner and then wanting to lay their baby eggs inside of them to kill them, kind of Black Widow style, if you will. But I've heard really great things about this, and I'm very interested to see the sapphic love story that comes of this kind of horror story. And then the final one I have is TJ Klune. TJ Klune is a queer author, an asexual, aromantic author. You can find many, many books by TJ Klune. They have quite a few series sets, so this is not like the end-all be-all of all the books, but they also have written The House in the Cerulean Sea, Under the Whispering Door, and The Lives of Puppets, as well as there's one other series that I can't remember that they've also done. But he is queer and asexual, which I think is really, really cool. And I really want to read these at some point. I haven't read them yet. I've heard from my sister, she has read these, that they're kind of like Big Brother-ish in a way. So very interesting, not really what I expected. When I was introduced to them, I was told that they were kind of Harry Potter-esque, but like not exactly. Make it gay. And I was like, Harry Potter, but make it gay sounds great to me. So I don't know if that's factual. I haven't read it myself, but I do plan to read this series at some point. All right. And then the final set of books that I have are books about gay characters. So these are all ones that I have read. So we have some animes, mangas here. I have The Summer Hakuru Died. I have read both of these, and it's not like, I'm not like super in love with them, but it is kind of cutesy in a way. I did enjoy them. I do want to read the other books in the series. I've only read books 1 and 2, but very cutesy dootsy. I love them. I love the little relationship that they have. Two best friends, one of the friends, Hakuru, disappears and comes back, and we are basically following him and his best friend, Yoshiki, I'm sorry, but him and his best friend, and his best friend realizing something's wrong with Hakuru. So very interesting. Don't like come for me with this recommendation, but this is gay. I don't think it's a good representation of gay, but it is gay, and that's Killing Stalking. If you ever read this manga, it's crazy. It's basically we're following Yeonbum and we're also following Songwoo. So we have Yeonbum and Songwoo, and Yeonbum is stalking Songwoo, but Songwoo is a killer, thus killing stalking. And basically what ends up happening and what we follow in this series is Songwoo basically holding Yeonbum captive and them having some sort of relationship, as much as you can call it that, based on the crazy shit that's happening. So if you haven't read this, I find it interesting and also upsetting, but I did read, I think, the first 3 in this set, so if you haven't read it, worth a try maybe. And then I have Wild Dark Shore. I read this not too long ago on recommendation from Kayla from Books and Lala, and this book devastating. I will say that the queer representation in this book is like a moment of information. It's not like the story. It's just something that is happening as a like side arc to this main story. But there is queer representation in here. It's not like the best. It is sad and depressing, but like it's in there if you're interested. We also have The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. I absolutely loved this book when I read it. We are following 2 gay dads and their daughter and them on vacation together, and the apocalypse into the world supposedly is happening at the same time. This is also a movie. This was a movie that came out, I believe M. Night Shyamalan may have been the one that brought this one to life, but this was a great book, and I think the movie was fine. I don't think it was like better than the book, but I do think it was interesting, and I did like the alternative ending, because they do have a different ending in the movie versus what's in the book. So if you've never read the book and you've only watched the movie, you should read the book. It's good. But I really enjoyed this by Paul Tremblay, again following 2 gay dads. And then we have Cuckoo by Gretchen Felker Martin, and Gretchen Felker Martin is also a part of the LGBTQ spectrum, but this is also about a like conversion camp, essentially. I did not finish this one, I will say. I did DNF this. Part of me feels bad that I DNF'd it and I need to go back and finish it. That's why I still own it, because it was supposed to be part of my like finish it or unhaul it series, and I didn't finish it. So technically I was supposed to unhaul it, but I don't know, something's telling me that I should just try and finish it. So we have Cuckoo if you're interested in that one. I will also say this is not the same as the movie Cuckoo with Hunter Schafer. 2 different things. I thought that the movie was made based on this book. They're totally different things. Not the same. So keep that in mind. It like this nesting situation and the cuckoo of it all made me think that they were related. And from what I have read of this, they are not related. So there's that. We also have Do Not Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. C.G. Drews is also an LGBTQ author, but this is also a representation of an asexual, a romantic relationship between 2 queer boys. This was very good. I really did enjoy this. I do plan to read C.G. Drew's other book, Hazelthorn. I want to read that one. But this followed, like I said, 2 boys, Andrew and Thomas, and their relationship with each other and the love that was happening in one of their heads and maybe not happening in real life for them, but this was really good. I really did enjoy this. And again, it's asexual, so the like romance sex stuff that you would normally get with gay stories isn't there, and I love that. I just absolutely loved this. The yearning and the heartfelt compassion and like, oh, it was beautiful. Very beautiful. Loved this. And then finally, my final book that I have to recommend for you guys is controversial, okay? Sorry, not sorry, it is. But it is gay characters, so I'm gonna share it. You decide if you want to read it or not. It's up to you. But we have The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I will say I really enjoyed this book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a beautiful story. I really loved the exploration of following Troy and all of the like goings on. I know the story. I've read the story. I love a historical fiction. I think they're wonderful. I'm obsessed with that genre of book, and The Song of Achilles was no different for me. However, I will say that there are a lot of people who criticize this book for being a heterosexuals' wet dream of what gay men do. So you can take that for how you want to. If you don't want to read it, you don't have to. It's totally fine. Madeline Miller is a cisgender woman. She's in a heterosexual relationship, I do believe. She's married, yeah, with her husband. So she's married, 2 kids, fully straight woman, but wrote this book about 2 gay men. I think it's great. I really loved it. There's some potential transgender representation types of stuff. If you know the story of Troy, you know. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I thought it was beautiful, but keep in mind, it's not always like the best representation of a gay relationship when it's written by a straight white woman. I said what I said. Anyway, that's it. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Pride Month. I hope that you're exploring and enjoying all things that Pride has to bring for you. I have some news for you guys. Today I should have been uploading my Raven Scholar vlog, and I did not get to upload that video. And the reason why I have not uploaded that video is because, unfortunately, last week I was laid off of my job, and I've really just been going through it, and I'm really just trying to like put the pieces of life together while I'm trying to find a new job. So I haven't finished Raven Scholar. I am reading it. It's just taking me a lot longer because I'm going through it, like I said. I think that it is a crime that they fired me during Pride Month. I don't know. You take it how you want to. But in all seriousness, it's been a tumultuous month so far, and I don't love that. I really wanted this month to be a happy and exciting and joyful month for me, so I'm choosing to keep it that way. I lost my job, and that's terrible, and it's awful, and it freaking sucks. The economy's trash right now, and to not have a job right now is crazy pants. But I'm choosing to make the best of it in whatever way that I can. And one way that I'm doing that is I'm staying super positive about finding a new job. I'm gonna find one, okay? I'm smart, talented, beautiful, awesome, amazing, all the great things. And I can do hard things. And a hard thing to do right now is to find a freaking job. And I'm gonna put myself to it, and I'm gonna find something. It might not be my dream job, and it might not be what I want, but I am gonna have to find a new job. I have to. My family depends on me finding a new job. But also, I'm going to just do my best to celebrate Pride this month. It should be a happy month, it should be a joyful month, and it should be an exciting month, and I'm going to keep it that way. You're not going to get me down. I'm sorry, it's not happening. So, with that said, I hope that you're having a wonderful Pride Month and a lot better of a time than I am. And if you're not, it can always be better. It will always get better. It might not look good right now, but it will get better. I promise you. Stick in there. Hold on. We're here. I'm here to support you. If you need someone to support you, if you need some help, if you need some advice, if you need guidance, if you want to talk, if you just want someone to listen, I'm here. Reach out. You can follow me on Instagram. Send me a message. I'll respond. You can message me here if you don't mind it being public. I'll respond in the comments. I'm always here. I love talking with you guys, and I love supporting my community and those outside of my community. And I just want to make sure that this space is a safe space, but it's also a happy space, and it's a positive space as much as I can make it. And I don't know, you make the day what it is for yourself, and you can let everything beat you down. And a lot of the times I do, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm choosing not to right now. And that might be also because I'm on antidepressants. But either way, I'm choosing to make this month better than it is, and believe in myself, and believe in positivity and happiness and joy and all the things good. So anyway, I know it was a random ranty spill, but all that to say, I hope you're having a wonderful Pride. I love you so dearly. You're a part of this community, whether you're in the Alphabet Mafia or not. I love you. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you later. Bye.